gamitin ng siko. Ito siko. Yung siko.
Uppercut followed by a dizzy so that he has an advantage.
Tinamaan yun. That was a...
You notice he always likes to put combinations together.
Manny Pacquiao. Magamat nakakubro itong si Hussein. Ayan.
In that heat, Manny kind of collapsed after that. Not collapsed, but...
On October 14th, 2000, Manny Pacquiao came face-to-face with one of his most cockiest and dirtiest fighters in his career, Nadal Hussein, a fighter out of Australia who was famous for his toughness and aggression, but also hated because Nadal would use all the dirty moves in his arsenal to win. Manny, on the other hand, was rising to greatness with multiple championships and is currently the WBC Super Bantamweight champion. He was fighting in his hometown, so Manny was confident, but Nadal used this confidence against him. As soon as the fight starts, Manny starts to unleash on the Aussie fighter, looking to end the fight as soon as possible. But Nadal proved tough, just like his 19-0 record. But even the mightiest fall before the Pac-Man.
Inside.
Sa katawan, umaatake ito si Manny Pacquiao. Hindi pa gumaganto ito si Nadal Hussein. And the crowd is in an uproar.
Manny corners Nadal and starts unloading his Gatling punches, destroying the core of the Aussie fighter, but Nadal Hussein fights through all the pain.
Okay, yun na. Umaatake naman ngayon si Nadal Hussein ng Australia. Mga kaibigan, wala pa pong talo ito.
Ang babantayan natin dito kay Nadal Hussein ay uppercut followed by a dizzy left straight.
It's there by Manny Pacquiao. Another left in the face by Manny Pacquiao. A right by Pacquiao. That's siguro. All right.
You notice he always likes to put combinations
Manny
together.
Pacquiao. Magamat nakakubro itong si Hussein. Ayan. Pinipapag na rin Hussein dito pa lang sa round number 1. Manny Pacquiao.
In just the first round, Manny manhandles Nadal, giving him no chance to counterattack, but Hussein remains patient and scans Manny's fighting style to make a comeback in the upcoming rounds, but he starts using his dirty tactics to piss off the Pac-Man.
Gusto magalit yung laban nato. Given a warning by referee Carlos Padilla.
Not under my watch. Sumuntok pa after the break, during the break actually.
Alam mo, partner.
Talk about power. Yes, Manny Pacquiao. Going to the... At least napapatigil ito sa Nadal Hussein. Hinihintay niya. Hindi siya maka-counter back.
Alam mo, partner, na-feeling ko dito, parang niro-rope out ni Hussein ito si Manny Pacquiao.
Now, Nadal was back to his old dirty game, which infuriated Manny even more.
Manny Pacquiao.
A good left to the red basket by Manny Pacquiao. Leading out with his right. Good right to the head by Manny. Sa katawan naman si Hussein and a right to the face by Nadal.
After dominating the first 2 rounds, Manny was confident that he would finish this fight soon, but Nadal had some other plans for him.
Natin talaga lumusot. Ayun, lumusot yun. Right and left.
Ito na iba si Manny Pacquiao. He just covers now. Ito. Nakatintig pa ito si Hussein and one thing we all dirty.
Gano'n, dirty.
Well, that was the...
Left hand, uppercut by Manny Pacquiao.
Nakapatid na si Hussein, a bantamweight undefeated contender.
Nadal was doing everything he could to keep the Pac-Man cornered, strangling his arms and punching in the gut, punching and pushing when Manny was on the ropes. But this only enraged the Filipino warrior even more.
So, Nadal Hussein. Combination by Manny Pacquiao, another right.
Alam niya si Manny Pacquiao in his last 3 fights. Naka-average lang siya. About 2
There's a WBC. Nawala sa kanya actually even before he went up the ring.
Then came round 4, where Nadal would start his comeback against all odds and force the Pac-Man to shut down completely.
So that he has an advantage.
Tinamaan yun! That was a punch! Bumagsak si Manny!
A quick left-right on Pacquiao's chin freezes him instantly, and he goes to the ground, but Manny gets up on the count of 8. However, Nadal sees this as his last opportunity and goes all out, even using his elbow to hit on the back of the head.
Hinahabol nila yun. Good right by Hussein. Hilo pa rin si Manny Pacquiao.
Dapat tumawak muna si Manny.
Yan, umayakap si Manny Pacquiao. Pero hindi na gamitin ng siko. Ito, siko. Yung siko.
And Nadal Hussein throwing an elbow and a foul, given a 1-point deduction.
The referee deducts 1 point from Nadal for hitting his elbow on the backside of Manny's head. And now, both fighters are pissed. They throw the rules out of the ring and it turns into an all-out brawl with both fighters willing to do anything to take this win.
Pero partner, nabigyan ng, oh, again, the shoulder. Gumagabit ang shoulder at saka tapos yung ulo pa.
Oy, yung ulo.
Oh my gosh, a dirty fighter.
Gimmick dito, no? Pero yung knockdown, mga kaibigan, that was a clear punch. Kaya nakapagpahinga si Manny Pacquiao eh. Nung winawarning na siya, tinanggal siya ng...
After a dominating round by Nadal Hussein, breaking through Manny's defense, countering with equal punches, and also forcing the Pac-Man to take the knee, Nadal gets a boost of confidence, thinking that he would now win the fight. But Manny was already pissed at his dirty play, and things only got worse from here on.
Good left by Manny Pacquiao. At sa loob. Oy!
Siko yun!
Siko.
Siko.
Oh, good right by Manny to the head.
Ito naman si Manny Pacquiao ngayon.
Pero nakikita ko si Nadal Hussein.
Ayun lang tayo nakapanood sa Queensberry Rules. Well, palagay ko, yung si Lamalote na nakalaban ni Gabriel Casillote na na-disqualify.
Ito, si Manny Pacquiao, mga kaibigan, has Nadal Hussein on the ropes.
To play toss and to play rope rope. Paguri niya si Manny Pacquiao.
Nagpapasuntok ito si
Hussein partner siya. Because bububo ka agad ang depensa. Ano siya umatake?
wrestling naman ang ginagawa
Ito para kay Manny Pacquiao. Ito
good
naman.
right by Nadal Hussein. Mga kaibigan, bumagsak po si Manny Pacquiao in round number 4.
Ito, nakita recovery ito para kay Manny Pacquiao.
Big right na naman by Nadal Hussein.
You also wonder, partner ko yung power.
Maganda yung tikada sa katawan ni Manny Pacquiao.
Napakahin ko sa sintukan nito si Hussein.
Pero ayun na, good right. Pero bumalik si Hussein with his own left.
Tumama yung partner.
Yeah. Pero ayun po.
During the break between rounds, Pacquiao sat motionless in his corner, his chest heaving, his eyes cold and dead, locked on his prey. Something snapped deep inside him at that moment, finally breaking his character. The kind Manny, the smiling fighter who loved the sport, was gone. What remained in the ring was no longer a boxer. It was a bloodthirsty animal, caged and furious, hungry for destruction, and Hussein had just become his prey.
Oh, left right by Nadal.
Parang nakikita natin, he's just
Good right by Hussein. His elbowing tactics.
partner, mukhang hindi sumusuntok dito.
Medyo naghihintayin yung dalawa.
So now he's waiting for...
Halfway through the fight, things got nasty. Both fighters shifted gears, going full defensive mode, refusing to give even an inch. Neither one of them wanted to hand their opponent the slightest opening, the smallest chance to land that one killer shot. The tension in the arena was suffocating. Everyone could feel the two warriors locked in to win the game, waiting for the other to make his move first. But then, slowly, the tide began to turn. Manny began finding his rhythm, slipping through Hussein's guard, landing cleaner shots.
Good left there.
Side of the face of Manny Pacquiao.
Yung kaliwan na pagbitawan niya, may lutong. Ano ni Manny Pacquiao?
Every time Manny got close to putting this fight away for good, the cocky bastard would pull out his desperate escape plan, grabbing, clutching, wrapping himself around Pacquiao like a terrified child clinging to his father. Whenever the Pac-Man unleashed his fury, Hussein would just hold on tight and pray for the referee to save him. This spineless tactic did nothing but fuel Manny's anger even more. The champion's blood was boiling now, his eyes darker, his punches meaner. Hussein was living on borrowed time, and very soon, Manny was going to drag this clown into the shadow realm.
Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, the champion, Nadal Hussein of Australia, the challenger. Para sa Viva Vintage Television, Manny Pacquiao with his right jab. Pacquiao leading on with the right jab.
Matindi ang left jab. It's a piston-like left jab. It's a lot of spinning power. At dapat partner, i-boxing na muna ito si Hussein.
In round 7, something clicked. Manny started finding his rhythm, coming back like a wave. He began taunting the arrogant rascal, talking trash between combinations, sticking sharp jabs right in his face just to remind him who was in control now. But Nadal, that dirty bastard, wasn't about to play clean. He doubled down on his cheap tactics, holding, headbutting, and throwing elbows. Then the scumbag crossed the line by shoving Manny hard into the corner.
Uy, ano naman yung Siko? Yung Siko na naman yun! Naku, hindi yata nakita ni Referee Padilla. Siko yun!
Thinking this weak intimidation move would rattle the champion's confidence, but Manny didn't even flinch. He was about to unleash absolute hell on this Aussie clown. Even the commentators couldn't hide their contempt anymore, openly calling out the dirty fighter for what he was.
Never have I seen a fighter as a championship fight. Scouting report niya ng galing sa akin, an English writer. He did describe Hussein as awkward and dirty.
Mukhang tamang-tama yung scouting report niya. Good right by Manny. Medyo natigil din doon si Hussein. Ayun yung kaliwa. Ngayon, layakap.
Then it happened. One quick, vicious right hook, perfectly timed, crashed straight into the fool's nose like a sledgehammer. Blood exploded from Nadal's face, pouring down like a broken faucet. For the first time, everyone could see the fear in Nadal's eyes as he was in disbelief. This was the moment he'd been desperately trying to avoid, the nightmare he'd been running from since the opening bell. But there was no escape now. His fate was sealed the second that punch landed.
Coming out of the nose of Hussein.
Medyo na ngayon lang nagbago itong expression sa mukha ni Hussein.
His eyes a little glassy, but you'll never know. Partner, matibay itong Australiano ito.
Nakita ko, kumindat siya doon.
Ito na naman. Gumamit na naman ng Siko. Ito, walang halos ginawa si Nadal Hussein sa round ni Manny Pacquiao.
Alright, and of round number 7, Antipolo City, sa labanan po ni Manny Pacquiao ng Pilipinas at si Nadal Hussein of Australia.
Doon, kita natin yung kanyang Siko.
Balikat at saka Siko. Manny Pacquiao,
Round na tayo. This is the round where Manny Pacquiao knocked out Shotshai sa Sakul for the WBC.
Uy,
Very aggressive.
lakas doon!
Very aggressive ngayon rito si Hussein. Parang conserve his energy. At ngayon, umatake si Hussein. You see it in his eyes, partner, no?
Lusuntok yun.
Dapat i-boxing muna ni Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao trying to fight in close range.
Right straight. And he needs distance to be able
Si Hussein, nakatakot niya sa loob niya. Ito, Manny Pacquiao.
Round 8 rolled around, and the story hadn't changed one bit. It had only gotten worse for Hussein. Manny was absolutely unloading on Nadal now, throwing combinations from every angle imaginable, turning the Aussie into a punching bag. Nadal just stood there like a statue, absorbing the brutal onslaught, doing everything in his power just to survive the Pac-Man's relentless assault. But even while getting his ass handed to him, this scumbag still refused to fight clean. He kept pulling the same pathetic tricks, hitting Manny while holding him, throwing cheap shots during clinches, hugging him like a desperate ex-girlfriend just to buy himself a few more precious seconds of survival.
So, Pidao, kailangan mag-ingat dito si Manny Pacquiao. He's got to keep his focus here. Sa katawan naman ngayon, makatake ito si Nadal Hussein.
And again, hitting during the third. At hindi na bibigyan ng point deduction, no?
Sabi niya binigyan sa 1 point in the fourth round. Last 10 seconds of the 8th round. Ito, nagpapalitan yung dalawa.
Hussein pulled every dirty trick he knew just to stay alive. He was fighting like his life depended on it. But nothing worked. Manny stayed vicious, stayed locked in like a predator. His game plan was simple and brutal. Keep that broken nose bleeding. Every single punch targeted that same spot. Jabs into the nose, hooks against the cheekbone, uppercuts snapping his head back. He could barely see, barely breathe through his destroyed nose. When the bell rang, Nadal practically collapsed into his corner. His team worked frantically to stop the bleeding, but everyone knew. He was finished, just too stubborn to quit.
Definitely ahead on points in Manny Pacquiao, no? But his score Hussein to really give it on.
Pinupuntirin ni Manny Pacquiao yung sugat niya. Yung tila yung pinupuntirin niya. Alalahanin po natin, he has 19 wins with 11 KOs. Pinusunod ni Manny Pacquiao si Nadal Hussein. He's up against the ropes.
Tugon na ito si Hussein partners, round knockouts.
7 first round knockouts, ha?
Partner.
Baka maaaring,
Napagod na rin ang kalaban. tatawagin yung ringside physician.
Round 9 began, and the tension in the arena reached its absolute breaking point. Nadal could feel it in his bones. Time was running out. Manny was circling him like a predator ready to pounce, and Hussein knew that any second now, the champion would go for the kill. Nadal started mixing it up, using every grappling trick he knew, searching desperately for any opening, any weakness, any chance to land that miracle shot that could turn this nightmare around. The Pac-Man's pressure was suffocating, overwhelming, and relentless. He gave Nadal absolutely nothing to work with. No space, no breathing room, no opportunities. Every time Hussein tried to create distance, Manny closed it instantly. The rascal was drowning now, gasping for air that wouldn't come. He was clinging to survival, holding on for dear life, praying that the bell would ring and save him from the beating that was coming.
So anong klase boxing ang pinapakita nitong Hussein na to?
Oh, yan na naman!
Oh my gosh! Ano yan? Oh my gosh, Carlos Padilla! Where are you?
Si Nadal Hussein.
And again, the head. And again. Referee Padilla, ringside position. And meron naman.
Well, dinidingin ang good right by Manny Pacquiao. Yung pa rin ang pinupunti rin niya. Yung putok. Yung sa kaliwang kilay ni Nadal Hussein. And guys, pata. Oh! Sumuntok na naman! Oh! Sumuntok na naman dalawang beses. Makabote.
Then round 9 exploded into complete savagery. Both men snapped. Whatever rules existed before were shattered into pieces. This wasn't a sport anymore. This was two warriors trying to kill each other with their bare hands. They stopped caring about anything except inflicting maximum damage on their opponent. Manny unleashed everything he had, throwing bombs with murderous intent. Nadal fired back with equal fury, swinging recklessly, desperately. That arrogant bastard threw one final punch, a cheap coward shot that landed flush on Manny's face well after the bell. Whatever thin thread of mercy he'd been holding on to just snapped completely.
Ayan, tira natin. Tapos na yun, no? Sumuntok yung pa isa. Dalawang beses eh. After the bell. There's the bell.
Good one.
Another one.
Ayun.
Oh, dalawa si Nadal Hussein.
Ano ito si Manny Pacquiao?
Good right by Manny. Good right by Manny Pacquiao. Susugod si Manny Pacquiao. Ito na. Susugod si Manny. Wala ang sila clean back to good right on the left.
Makabalik si Hussein kagad, partner, ha?
Oh, Manny Pacquiao.
Except that, sabi mo nga, no?
When that final round bell rang, Manny Pacquiao became a force of nature. He exploded like a volcano that had been building pressure for 9 straight rounds. This was the moment he'd been waiting for. The moment to unleash absolute hell. Manny went full destroyer mode, throwing everything in his toolbox with lethal intent. Left hooks, right crosses, devastating uppercuts, brutal body shots. Every single punch had bad intentions written all over it. He wasn't boxing anymore. He was executing a masterclass in violence, making Nadal pay the ultimate price for all his dirty garbage throughout the fight. Nadal's blood was pouring all over his face and the ring. His eye came almost out of the socket, but the dirty bastard still believed that he would win somehow. But Manny knew better. The champion had already decided how this story ended.
At partner, Carlos Padilla, hindi niya tinatawag yung ringside position. Bakit niya?
Doktor.
Itatawag na ngayon ang ringside position sa wakas. Tinawag ni Dr. Nasser Cruz. Baka itigil na ito. Kumagana na daw yung sugat.
Oh, ayaw. Sabi, hindi na raw pwede. Tinigil.
Tinigil na.
Pa rin bumabato rito.
Manny Pacquiao has won by a technical knockout, and Jeff Bennett.
In the end, the fight is stopped as Nadal's face becomes unrecognizable, and the referee barely saves him from the wrath of the king of the ring. Manny defends his title successfully, but Nadal learns a valuable lesson that day. Never play dirty with your opponent, or it will cost you an eye.